Good evening and welcome to the September 14th, 2020 Planning Board meeting. First, if you could stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for
which it stands,
one
nation under God,
indivisible,
liberty.
and justice for all.
Thank you. We've quite a lengthy,
Hold- I actually have to let all the applicants into the meeting.
okay.
Right, you got 24, 25, 26.
A lot of people.
Can we put like pictures of ourselves on cardboard placards like they do at the ball games now? Then we could just make crowd noise in the background.
Or we could sell our spot to other people.
There you go.
You want to plug this in?
Good, Robin? Let me know.
All right, I'm in. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Tom.
Thomas, do you have an announcement to make?
Yeah, I do. For once, drinks.
We're on TV, Thomas.
I still think it's a good idea.
I'll take a Diet Coke, Tom.
There you
Diet
go.
Coke, that's fine.
As long as we social distance.
We good, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, so we have quite a lengthy agenda tonight. Obviously, one meeting in September. We did learn today that Thomas is going to be parting ways with the town of Yorktown and moving on in his professional career. We all want to wish Thomas all the best in his future endeavors. We're going to miss you terribly.
Indeed. Go get him.
There was one change to the agenda. Nantucket Sound Sons LLC was withdrawn by the applicant. We are going to put them into the work session because the engineer still wants to speak to the matter. That being said, we don't have any correspondence or liaison reports that I saw. We have the meeting minutes for approval on August 10th. 2020, I was not in attendance. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Yes.
I have. I submitted my suggestions.
Any other issues?
That's it.
Make a motion.
Nothing substantive.
Second motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carries. All right, we're gonna move into the regular session portion of the meeting. First on the agenda is the BJ's Wholesale Club Incorporated. This is a renewal of their special use permit. The location 3315 Compound Road. Are they here?
Do we have anyone on representing the BJ's?
Well, do we need them? It's usually cut and dry. I mean,
I just don't remember their name. That's why I'm scrolling down.
Graham.
Luce.
Oh, no.
Did the last time we did a renewal without,
Yeah.
No changes, right, Steph?
John, is
No
that
changes.
complaints, any issues at all, John?
Excuse me?
Have there been any complaints, any issues? Nothing. All right, so there's no one here from the applicants? All right. Anybody from the public like to speak to the matter? I'll give you a minute. While we're doing that, Counselor, any issues?
It's a 1-year extension?
It could be up to a 5-year extension. I do have a resolution for it. Unfortunately, I'm on my phone right now because my internet connection is scattered, but I do have a draft resolution. You can renew it between up to 1 to 5 years.
Okay.
This was originally approved in 2010. It was reapproved in 2015, and now it's 2020, July 12th to be specific.
So it looks like you've been doing 5 years. Does that your recollection, Robin?
Mm-hmm.
Any
I have
board-
no problem with that. I mean, we're gonna have a little more traffic in the, in that whole parking lot situation, but it shouldn't impact what's going on in front of BJ's, I don't think.
Yeah, and they're pretty well controlled. All they do is put some plants out, that's all.
Yeah,
I mean, I was
plant,
there yesterday. It was
shed.
just- Oh, yeah, they got 2 sheds out.
Mhm.
Nothing extraordinary.
I think they've actually done pretty well with the current pandemic situation
Yeah.
with the carts and the
Yeah,
circulation of the traffic in and out of the building, the one way in, one way out. I have no problem with it.
no, me neither.
All right. Any other board members have an issue with the extending it for 5?
No,
Jim, any issues? Oh, I can't hear you, Jim. Oh, no, go on.
There you are.
And no issues from me, Mr. Chairman.
All right, then. Reference to the BJ's Wholesale Club Incorporated. Do we have a motion to renew the special use permit for a period of 5 years?
Almost.
second,
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is the Broad Pines or Pre-Beck approved subdivision. They're looking for amendments to the subdivision resolution. Location is 309-311 Granite Springs Road. Is the applicant on?
I did not see his name.
Yes.
Here he is. Audio, Enzo. Top right corner. We can't hear you.
You're muted, Enzo. You have to unmute yourself, Enzo. Okay.
So just a point of information while we're waiting. This is just for the strips that we're talking about to correct the deeds, et cetera, right?
It's to take the strips, it's to receive lot 7,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to secure the maintenance agreement for the road and access and so forth.
Excellent. Welcome, Enzo.
Hi, I should be unmuted at this point. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yep.
Yep,
Can I-
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
you're on.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Okay.
Jim, have you had a chance to take a look at the maintenance agreement? Are we all set? Do you have any issues?
Yeah, the maintenance agreement I looked at, I thought was fine. The resolution I looked at, I thought was fine. Adam and I will have we'll have to confer with the town board, but we believe that they will accept the terms of the resolution, which are a deed in lieu of payment of taxes that are currently in arrears.
Okay. So if we go through this, do we have to wait for town board or,
No,
okay,
the planning
payment-
board will act on it and bring it to the town board as a completed subdivision.
okay.
So the fact, the taxes that are owed that you're referring to, Jim, are only for lot number 7, correct?
That's correct.
Just for the public's knowledge.
And in
And
fairness, the applicant did tender a deed to the town
Right.
30 years ago for lot 7 that just for whatever reason was not recorded.
Correct.
Okay, and the road widening strips, Jim, we should have a section in here as well, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Right, that we should have the town take the road widening strips by acceptance of an offer of dedication.
Okay, so that wording can be condition number 3.
Correct. And I'll work on something tonight or tomorrow to get that taken care of.
Thank you.
Okay, any members of the board have any issues?
None. I think
None.
it's great to get it squared away.
Any questions from the public on the matter? We'll give you a second to reach out to Robin. John, while we're waiting, no other issues? John Taggart?
None?
Okay. Good?
I think we're good, yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
So no comment from the public. Do I have a motion for the resolution amending Resolution 90-10 regarding the Broad Pine subdivision plat?
Motion.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Enzo. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have the Sandboss Minor Subdivision. This is for a decision statement. Location 1005 Hanover Street.
I'm going to recuse myself on this application.
Sir. We have Joe. There he is. Hello, Joe. We can't hear you, Joe. I think Joe's having some technical difficulties there.
Rich, can I say one thing? Since now I'm back, I got my internet back. I'm now back at the computer.
Sure, Tom.
So I just wanted to, since this is my last planning board meeting with all of you guys, I just want to say thank you very much for all of you guys. You all are very much dedicated to the town and what really makes Yorktown a great place to live. It's people like you that really every town, any given municipality needs. I want to thank you all. I'm very happy to have worked and know all of you guys. So that's my two cents right there.
Well, I just want to tell you good luck on your next step on the ladder, and I hope you're successful the rest of your life.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think,
you, man.
Tom, the feeling is mutual from all of us that we feel the same way, having worked with you and all of your contributions to the town as well.
I said I wasn't going to cry, but no.
Tom, who am I going to text during the meetings?
You could still text me during a meeting. You can text Bill.
Joe yet?
Is Joe on? Oh.
He's there. I see the video. I just don't hear him.
I think he's going to call in.
Okay.
Yeah, he joined again.
Do you want to move to the next one and then come back, or?
It's up to you.
Yeah.
Joe's saying go.
All right. Okay, so we're going to put off Sandboss until Joe could work out his glitches there. We're going to move on to number 6 on the agenda list, which is the CVS on Commerce Street. This is a public hearing. The location is 1990 Commerce Street. We have Inside Engineering on. For a rep.
Yes. Hi, Dawn McKenzie, Inside Engineering.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to see you all again. So let's see.
All right.
Here
Let me
tonight, I
go-
believe Chuck DeMilo is here as well from Vera Management, the owners of the property.
All right. So we
Okay.
got reps. All right, to the board, do I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
So moved.
The second?
Second.
All in favor. All right, Dawn, you're a go.
Okay, so for the public, I'll provide a brief description of the project, just to get us started. So, oh, can I share my screen? That would probably be helpful.
Be best, yeah.
Share screen 2. You went through those first projects very quickly, so good for you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get to the right. So CVS Plaza, it's in the C3 zone. It's 3 acres, 1990 Commerce Street. So we have Commerce Street running along the west side over here. And this is the Triangle Plaza over here. And of course, where the planning offices are, the town building is in this spot right here next door. So we were here a couple of years ago with the PCSB Bank, and we're back again. What Vera Management, the owner, is looking to do is to provide some some curb plant beds along the front of the CVS building and the retail building on the east end of the plaza. And this project has a couple of very important benefits. It provides plantings where there are none now, and it provides curbed islands with decorative bollards in it, which will provide a much needed safety improvement along the front of the building. If we look at the photos, this is the existing conditions, the front of those buildings. Right now, we have the parking lot road pavement and the sidewalk, and there isn't a curb in between, and it's that way along the front of the building. And so they're looking to put something in to provide some safety benefits. Chuck DeMilo is here from Vera Management. They're the owner. He'll give you a little bit of history of the project for those who aren't familiar with why we're doing this. Chuck?
Chuck, you're on mute. Still can't hear you.
I can't see him, so what I can do is I can jump in. I'll jump back in since we're having some issues with Chuck getting in. So in the past, there have been cars driving down. Let's just go back to the overall plan, coming down. Typically the way it works through this is they'll come in off of Commerce Street, and then they turn this way to go through the parking lot, and then they'll make a right turn and head towards the building, then cut over to Triangle Plaza. And that's the way circulation works in that direction and in the other direction. There have been vehicles that have come down the aisle and actually driven into the building. And inside the building, the CVS staff, their cash registers, if you're familiar with the way CVS's work, they're actually standing with their backs to this wall. So, and when Vera Management took back control of management of the property back when we were doing the PCS project, that was one of the things that they were asked about, if something could be done about that. So that's one of the reasons why, or the main reason why we're doing this project. In addition to that, they're planning on restriping and paving the parking lot as well. And their intention is to get that done this fall. So let's take a closer look at the project. So, here we are, east end of the plaza. These are the CVS and the retail shop buildings. And what our intention is to remove some of the concrete and asphalt pavement along the front of the building and put in curbed plant beds. So there'll be things in there, and mixed in with that, there are decorative bollards to provide some additional protection. So because we are taking pavement out in this location, we are also shifting the drive aisle over and making these islands at the ends of the beds larger. We're expanding them and increasing them. In the existing condition, if we just flip back to this plan here, let's just zoom in just a little bit. You can just see the dashed lines underneath in the purple area that show you right now there's just a half an island. We're shifting it over and we're making it bigger and expanding it on the other side. So that's additional traffic improvement for visitors in the plaza. So what we've done for this submission is we provided, at the request of the planning board, some elevations of what the plant beds are going to look like in front of in front of the building. And so you can see it's a 6-inch concrete curbed island along here. There are access pathways to the existing sidewalk under the roof overhang in front of the building. And we're providing, in addition to that, plantings and decorative concrete bollards in selected locations along the front of the building where we thought they would provide the most benefit. And the bollards are concentrate, the beds themselves have been placed at the ends of the drive aisles because we thought that would be the location where they provide the most benefit. And the bollards are provided, are concentrated at the ends of the drive aisles as well. So, and this is just in front of the CVS. We have another rendering. Let's take a look at that. And this is the other building. So there's islands and stone bollards along there as well with plantings provided in front of the shops. So when we met with the planning board at the last meeting, just to give you an idea of what we've been up to since we met with the board back on, I believe it was August 10th, the board had asked us to respace the bollards to get them closer together and to provide dimensions so they could see how far apart the bollards were placed. So what we've done, if we zoom in, actually, I think it might be, there we go, this one here. So this is the plan rotated on its side, just so you can see how we have spaced the bollards and the dimensions in between. So the board had asked us to space them at 6 feet on center. If we did that, that would require us to install twice as many bollards. And really that was an aesthetic that the owner was not looking to provide. One of the first layouts that he had gotten for this project was a soldiered row of bollards along the front of the building, and it really was not very attractive. And we're trying to do something that will provide benefit, safety improvements, and something that was aesthetic and actually looked better than what's there now. And of course, the plantings accomplished looking better, and the bollards that we've selected for the project actually look much better than what's there now. But we feel that the improvements that we're providing, it really provides much more safety benefit than what's there now between the curbs, the plantings, and the bollards. So what we've done is we've spaced the bollards closer together. We have focused them on the ends of the drive aisles, in these locations, and the spacing that we've provided. So center to center, which doesn't mean a lot, the bollards are 13 feet apart. But the bollards themselves turned on an angle because they are square bollards, and we have them rotated so that the diamond point is facing out, because, it actually looks pretty good, but it makes them wider. These bollards are actually they end up being, I believe it's like 22 inches wide. So from edge of bollard to edge of bollard, that puts them just over 11 feet apart. And that's generally the dimension they're spaced like that along the front. The access aisle itself is 6 foot wide. So you've got face of curb to face of curb, 6 foot wide. So for a car to, get through that area, they'd have to really be focused on that one spot. And we feel that this provides much more benefit than what was originally, than what currently exists at the site. And so this is what we've done with that. So in addition to revising the site plans in that way, we have also gone to see the ABACA, and they've reviewed the plans. They generally seem to like the project. We did get a memo back from them. I don't know if we need to go through that at this point. That's up to the board. Not sure procedurally if you need to do that. They've made one recommendation on a planting substitution, which we can certainly do, and some other, they had some other comments, and we can address those as well. Nothing significant, not a problem. the other thing we've done is the project's been referred to the town engineering department, and there's some comments there as well. We can go through those if you like. We have to revise our plans and resubmit to address these, but I don't think there's anything significant here. As far as engineering comments go, he recommended that we submit to New York City Department of Environmental Protection to confirm that we didn't need to have SWIP review, and we have received a letter back stating that we do not from DEP. And also under seeker, the plans were submitted for review, and they came back with some recommendations on some planting substitutions, which we will certainly consider that as well. The one thing that we really wanted to show to the board is the plans were also referred to the fire inspector, and he had some comments. One of his comments was to provide a 3-foot wide access path to be placed in front of the fire department connection on the west side of the building. So what we've done is we've put together a sketch we wanted to review with the board to see it. Let me just bring that up. It's the sketch right here. So this is the location right here. So the entrance to CVS is here, and there are some windows here. And then between these windows and the next set of windows, there's the fire department connection on the front of the building. So what we are suggesting is, we'll shift one of the access aisles. Actually, it would end up being providing an additional access aisle in that location and just modify the beds slightly. So we end up with the bollards in the same locations they're proposed on the plan that we had previously submitted. But it would provide the requested access direct to the fire connection for the fire department. He also recommends striping for fire lane, which I'm sure was there previously, and we can do that. We just need to verify with him the width of that, and I was not able to speak with him today regarding that. And the other thing he recommended was to provide fire lane no parking signs within the plant beds, and we can certainly do that. We'll just need to verify the spacing, and we'll get those on the plan. And I think that goes through all of the things we've done, and I think it gives a general overview of the project. So
and one question with the
Yes.
town engineer's comments.
yes,
There was a question about the handicap spots.
yes, we can. So if you look at the plan, we can provide another handicap space right here. It just requires markings and additional signage. We already have an access aisle, so we'll address that as well.
Okay, and this isn't impacting the parking requirements, right?
No, it's not. We're only required to have 88 parking spaces, and we have 107. So we have more than enough parking to accommodate another handicap space.
But Dawn, could you go over the parking in a little more detail? You're eliminating 4 spaces, is that right?
We are, so let's see. Let's go back to this plan. Actually, that's an old version. We're not eliminating parking spaces. So most of the spaces are larger than required by the code. So we're actually able to restripe this with code conformant spaces because what's there is bigger now and not lose any spaces.
Okay, so what you're saying is that this plan shows that you're eliminating 4 spaces but by virtue of the restriping, you're actually providing 1 more than exists at the site today. Is that correct?
Let's just go. Sorry, this highlighted plan is an older version, and we confirmed the parking counts, which I have here.
Bianca, I'll call you back. I'm on Zoom.
So yes, we're actually picking up a space. That sounds odd, but that's what I'm being told. So,
Just out of curiosity, what are you going to in your space size in that area?
they are, oh, they didn't dimension those. Let's see if it's on the other plan. Hold on. Uh, 8.5 by 18.5.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it, Dawn?
Yes.
Any members of the board have any issues?
Well, I'm going to reiterate what Bill said last time. I think the spacing of the bollards is something that needs to be taken into consideration. I understand that the proposed plan is far superior to the existing site conditions. I was there for one of the incidents with CBS, and it was horrible. It was, they came down the traffic aisle through the building, and it was quite an event. Thankfully, nobody got seriously hurt, to my knowledge, anyway. I see the building, and the north end is, where the vehicle came down the hill behind the now PCSB building. That's fairly heavily fortified, which is great. We're not just talking about traffic patterns, and that's the point I'm making. If people can come down the hill and hit the building because of the intersection, the very busy intersection, perhaps the busiest one in town, then that end of the building should be protected, and it appears to be fairly well protected. I'd like to see another bollard. The fire inspector's comment is going to throw a wrench in that, but that long space along the front of the building that was quite a bit larger, as people try and maneuver that turn, they could easily get a car in between those bollards. But the biggest concern might possibly be the southeastern section of the building where Subway is and some of the other tenants there. It's relatively unprotected. And somebody coming in down that traffic aisle and trying to maneuver a turn to the left, if somehow they lose control of the car, that whole corner only has the single bollard kind of right in front of the corner. But there's a lot of space for a vehicle to get through there. I would like it to be revisited. If you're going to do it, I think you should do it right. And, even if it's putting a railing in between the bollards to create a fence-like look that we've often seen, it could be an iron rail in between the concrete. It could be, iron or some type of steel in between steel bollards, but something that would be a little more protection than what's being proposed.
Well, I absolutely agree. A Juniper is not going to stop a car. You can get a Sherman tank through those ballots. And that's where it'll go unless you have a target on the ballot and they want to hit the target. That's a different story.
Yeah, but look at the angle, the bollards are protecting the ends of the traveled portions of that parking lot. And this
Correct.
corner is really not head on to any other section except the road that's right in front of it. I think that's a vast improvement over what used to be there, which I think is nothing.
Oh, it's certainly a vast improvement. That one corner.
I'm not sure it poses the same risk because it's not head on, and you've got the end of the parking area there with that planting, by 7 and 8
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom there. So I'm not sure it's the same level of risk in that inside corner there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Aaron. It's a level of risk that
Yes.
would be fairly easily addressed. The corner itself is kind of protected, but I think that was basically done originally for the truck traffic that has to get behind the building, and maneuver that turn possibly. But, somewhere in there, I think it might be, a good idea. I don't want to offend anybody's creative, plan here, but safety-wise, if it could be revisited, I would, on behalf of the public, I appreciate taking another look at it. I commend the applicant for taking control of this situation. And in reference to the parking, if there are a dozen spaces over what's required in that lot, I've never seen that lot completely full,
Never.
but given the parking maneuvers, I would rather see fewer spaces and leave them at the wider width. That's my opinion. Everybody in town goes there. I don't know, unless they're bringing in new tenants that are completely going to crowd that parking lot. I think having the wider spaces, especially given all these turning maneuvers that are going to be taking place in this particular section of the lot, I would rather see the wider lots. I've been there several times where people have fender benders or bumping into each other or honking at each other. They can't see or whatever. I'd rather see fewer lots that are a little wider, perhaps the size that they are now, but certainly not narrower when the lot gets restriped. That's my opinion.
I gotta agree with Johnny. Every time I go there, it's dangerous. You backing out and somebody's speeding through the thing and beeping a horn at you.
Right.
Traffic patterns are bad.
John, you have any thoughts, Tegater?
On the bollard issue,
Yeah.
I was thinking along the same lines that I don't think anybody's going to aim to go through them. I don't think the other two did. Somebody could aim, but if a car can certainly get through the 9-foot space between, and I would hate to see everyone be so unlucky that a car actually did get through the 9 feet, and then this effort would be in some degree for naught. So when I looked at the renderings, I think they're very attractive, and I actually think that the bollards mixed in with the plantings there, if there was another 2 in that section where the 3 are, I don't see any aesthetic or any diminishment in the aesthetics that you're creating whatsoever. They are decorative bollards, as I understand it. I haven't seen the detail or the catalog cut on them, but so I wouldn't see any aesthetic difference. And if you did add 2 or 1 or 2 on even on the south side, I think that you would increase the safety to a very much higher degree, actually. So
Absolutely.
that's my sense.
Of course.
Dawn, can you go back to the plan view, please?
This one or the
The site plan. Yeah, that's fine there. I mean, if the whole lot's getting restriped and we're redoing the whole area, would it be beneficial at all to have that, I can't point at the thing, that center aisle there, angled parking so that it's one way, like traveling away from the building? So that people aren't going to drive towards the building, at least with that center aisle. That might give, and I agree with John Kinkard. I'd rather see the larger spots, especially if you have enough parking.
Yeah.
But that might, and what about, is there any way maybe to use, if the owner doesn't want to see bollards, I'm sure you can get maybe boulders and anchor them somehow that they'd become protection maybe. I don't know how you'd engineer that, but I do agree with John Kinkart and his comments. There's a problem there, and we appreciate everything you're doing is trying to make it better, but is it enough? Any other thoughts from the board?
Just one other thing that I have, I know I touched on it last time, but I don't think that you're doing, Dawn, you may have to refresh my memory. I apologize. You're not having a curb at the individual entrances to the sidewalk?
So you're talking about, let me get my mouse. You're talking about these
Yes.
locations?
Correct.
So
No curb.
there's no curb, right?
So you're maintaining the existing concrete sidewalk as is?
Yes, so it'll be asphalt up until it gets to the concrete, and it'll be a flush transition in between those, right? To maintain, accessibility. Right. We're not providing a step up.
Are there going to be any stormwater issues with that?
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. If Dawn would talk a little bit about whether DEP is asking you to do any stormwater planning and whether or not you need a stormwater permit from them. It is in the Main Street, designated Main Street area. And secondly, I want to talk about the town engineer had a comment that says it requires an MS4 stormwater permit. And if Dawn can elaborate on that, if she knows any more about it, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, so we submitted plans to DEP to review and ask them, you know, we have a net decrease in impervious, so we're removing more pavement than is there by putting more pavement than we're putting back with this. So, you know, if you look at this, we're repaving these little bits where we're taking out the beds, but all of this is pavement that's being removed in these locations. And then everywhere we're putting in a plant bed, we're taking out pavement. So what we end up with is a net decrease in pavement on the site by, I believe it's somewhere between 900 and 1,000 square feet. I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
Okay.
So, and we provided that information and the latest set of site plans that we submitted to the planning board to DEP. They reviewed it and sent us back a letter, which I believe was copied to the town, stating that we're not required. They don't need to do further review. We're not required to do a SWIP for this.
Okay, so you don't need a permit from them, even though it's in the designated Main Street area, right?
Correct.
That's great.
Yes.
Okay, so
We thought so
then,
too.
yeah. Now, do you know anything about what the town engineer has asked for in terms of an MS4 stormwater permit?
So let me find his memo.
It just states that you need one.
Okay.
So you haven't had a conversation with him really in depth?
No, actually, I haven't talked to him.
Okay.
So I'll follow
So-
up with that.
So any stormwater permit comes from this board, the planning board? I don't know what is needed, and I think that we should request clarification on that.
Okay.
Sounds like we have a lot of open issues. As this is a public hearing, any members of the public have any concerns, questions about the application? We'll give you a minute to reach out to Robin.
I don't see anyone, but they can click the raise hand or send me a message in the chat.
We'll give them a minute. Okay.
I don't see anyone that wants to comment.
All right, so what's the wish of the board at this point? Sounds like we have open issues with the fire inspector, town engineer. We have issues with the application. Any thoughts?
I think one of the only planning issues I heard was whether there would be additional bollards put in there. Do we need to hold a hearing open at this point? Notwithstanding the issues that were raised, which of course are real issues.
The only thing I would add is that if there is a stormwater permit, it's your approval. I don't know that there is one. I'm a little bit at a loss, but I haven't spoken directly to Michael Quinn about it, so.
It sounds like there might be enough to hold this open. I don't know if any other members have any thoughts.
Well, it sounds like Game of Thrones, but winter is coming.
Yes, I know.
And you know, they have a project, and yeah, Rich, you probably know this intimately because everybody's going to be planning around what at least the predictions are for a fairly active winter, from everything I'm hearing. And I would not want to hold the applicant up from making these safety improvements, number one.
Right.
hopefully they can work something out. By the way, Dawn, I think the plan is very attractive. I think I said that at the last meeting, but if I did not, it's a very attractive plan. So, again, I really would, I want to be right up front with that. And I think it's aesthetically a terrific improvement to the property, but much, much, much more importantly, safety-wise, it's a tremendous improvement. If the applicant would consider what we've suggested in terms of additional bollards and maybe keeping the spacing of those the dimensions of those parking spaces on the wider side at the very least to afford a tiny bit more maneuverability but visibility, I would, I think the board, from a couple of comments that were made, would appreciate efforts in that regard. I don't see them as, the dimensions of the parking spaces holding anything up. And because we didn't get any public comment, I would recommend that the board close the public hearing and leave it open for written comment for the usual 10-day period or 14-day period. If something comes up, we can revisit it at another meeting, but at least because we're only having one meeting this month and we are heading into fall, we'll be in the fall season calendar-wise by the time we meet again. I would like to see the process move along because it is going to be a benefit safety-wise to the public.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I second.
John, before we move on, can we work some of these other issues out, stormwater and such, in work session?
Well, I guess I would ask John, what are you proposing, that you close the public hearing, leave it open, and then come back to the next meeting and do your decision statement? Is that your sense?
That would be my recommendation.
Okay. Here's the things that are up in the air. The bollards, I think, are up in the air, which need to be, I think, revisited and would be to your satisfaction. The landscape plan needs to be modified if the ABACA and DEP suggestions are going to be accepted. So in other words, the landscape plan should reflect exactly what you're going to plant so that when we go out there to inspect at the end, we don't find other plants there, that kind of thing. So it's more a matter of housekeeping. The other one is, I think, the amenities that will recapture this as a fire lane, which it legally is under our local law as a fire lane. That may include, that 18-inch hatch striping, and it certainly includes some signs. That needs to get on the plans. And then I think we need to have closure on whether or not this indeed needs a stormwater permit of some sort. All of that, I think, can be done between now and the time that you're ready to do your decision statement. So I have no trouble working to get those done to your satisfaction by then, if that's the direction that you'd like to go.
I'm fine with that.
Can I ask a question? Can any of the one thing, obviously we've talked about before that we are getting into the fall season and they're trying to get this paved and installed. And of course the curbs have to go in first before they can do the paving. And they are trying to beat the weather. So, I'm wondering if some of these things can be done as conditions of approval. Obviously the stormwater permit, if that's needed, that's a little bit trickier. Since the board makes a decision on that. But the other ones, I'll certainly speak with the owner about the additional bollards if that's what needs to be done to get it approved. Would be nice if he could weigh in at this point, but.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Hear you, Chuck.
Yeah, sure. So I can commit to adding a couple more bollards, and I can also commit to having the wider parking spaces. I don't think either one of those will stop the program.
Awesome. Is there a mechanism that that we could entertain, John Tegeter, or Jim perhaps, where they could start putting the curbs in for these planted, these landscape beds without an actual approval? Because they, or do we really have to have the approval in order to let them start that work?
Well, you could do an approval that has conditions. So in other words, the conditions would be modify the landscape plan to your satisfaction, produce a plan that shows the fire lane and its signage properly, and also a plan that shows the bollards, and a plan that shows the restriping of the, the modification of the parking areas. Those can be conditions. So the approval can actually, the resolution of approval you can actually do. You would have to comply with those things, but that can be done before the next meeting. If you allow me to look at it and then show you what they've shown me, and given the go-ahead to move forward on the curbs only at some point in the next week or so, or 10 days, or whatever it is that Dawn can turn around some of these things. That's one way of doing it. One other thing I don't want to forget is that a condition should also be added that the lighting that is existing there now, that's new, is modified to be compliant with the code and the last lighting plan approval, which is really just turn those fixtures as far down to the horizontal as possible.
I have a comment on that also. So I spoke with the installation company on the lighting, and they went over to the parking lot and they repointed 2 of the fixtures. And what they've told me is that after repointing those 2 fixtures, the lights are now in compliant with the approved plan.
Okay, we'll take a look, and if there's one or more that need to be pointed down even further, which I'll take them at their word that there's not, we'll just let you know and get it done at some time.
They told me that
during
they
this project.
repointed them, so they said everything's in compliance now.
Okay,
Well,
great.
John, the only thing I see that they repointed was the 2 lights by the closest to the CVS.
Yeah, so I recommend you put the condition in, and if it's already done, then it's a moot point.
Right.
If there's one or more fixtures that still need some attention, we'll bring that up.
Great.
I think that's fair enough.
Mr. DeMilo, would that be helpful to get a conditional approval sooner than later so you could start that work? At least we know the location of the curbed planting beds. I don't think anybody brought up any comment about relocating or changing the dimensions of those curbed areas, to my knowledge.
Well,
that helps. If the program is delayed for a month, we probably are going to miss the window for this fall. If we don't move forward soon, I'm pretty sure that this is going to need to be delayed until the spring.
Yeah, they need to be reconfigured according to the fire lane.
The fire lane, right.
So they'll need to be, drawn differently and redimensioned. So,
okay.
But again, that can be a condition. I think that's fine.
John Tegeter, do you have a concern about issuing a neg deck and a site plan approval with the SWEP issues still outstanding?
No, I don't. And the reason is because this is a pervious developed site with a stormwater regime already in place, which is being altered in a way that is not expanding the impervious surface. It's actually lessening it. And so I think the stormwater regime here will still work properly. Otherwise, I think the commentary from the town engineers would have been much more substantial. I still want to find out from him, but I don't think that even if there are some modifications that it rises to pos decking this project.
So between now and the next meeting, Dawn, I think it's important that you meet with John, the town engineer, and possibly the fire inspector at the same time so that we can get that moving. But it sounds like the consensus of the board now, this is a safety improvement. They're not gaining anything out of this other than the safety of the occupants and the people there, which I think is important. John Kinkar brought up a good point that before we know it, winter will be upon us. So we do have a neg deck in front of us, and we also have pull it up, a resolution. So first we'll deal with the neg deck, which was dated September 14th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve the neg deck?
So moved.
Second.
You didn't declare lead agency.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry. Do I have a motion to declare the town as a lead agency?
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, then we have the neg deck, again dated September 14th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, then we have a resolution approving the amended parking plan for the CVS Plaza. The notes that are going to be included have to do with the correction of the lighting, the fire inspector's issues with the fire lane, the location and design of the bollards, the parking spot alignment and size, DEC,
DEP?
DEP, thank you, clearance, and the possible stormwater permits. Other than those noted, are we missing any, John?
Landscape,
Landscape,
Cape and Bollard.
bollards on there.
the landscape, the planting specifications.
Okay, as per box.
So the landscape plan.
Okay. Jim, we missing anything?
Nothing that I can think of.
All right. So with the comments noted, do I have a motion for the proposed resolution?
Move.
So moved. Second.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Mr. DeMilo, thank you for working with us and improving your place.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration.
No,
Great.
thank you for working with the town.
good luck, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Don't worry, we'll get it done.
Great.
Okay, is Joe on?
Can you hear me?
No.
No, we can hear you. It's got to be louder though.
Oh,
I heard him.
Yeah. I heard him say, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I heard him too.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Time.
Okay, I'm going to step out.
All right, John.
Using myself on this application. Good luck.
All right. Just for the public, we are back with number 5, the Sandvoss Minor Subdivision. This is a decision statement, locations 1005 Hanover Street. Joe, you're on.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see everyone.
Aye.
So we're before you asking for resolution of approval for the Sandvoss subdivision, which is a 3-lot subdivision. It involves 4 lots because one of the existing lots will have an access easement for the 3 lots to the rear of the property. So really it's a 3-lot subdivision and it's a minor subdivision. This project has gone through an extensive scrutiny. It's had 2 public hearings. It has approval from the DEP, the DEC, the Army Corps. The town engineer has given his conditional approval, and the health department approval also. And we are asking to move this forward and get a resolution of approval so we can get the map filed and this project underway.
Okay, just for a point of clarity from John and Jim. So we did hold a second public hearing because of the time that elapsed between the first. So what I see here, it was closed. We also accepted the neg deck, which looks like it was dated May 7th, 2018. Is that correct?
That sounds right.
Okay. I see Thomas shaking his head. That's correct, Thomas?
It's in your book, the neg deck, if you want to
Right.
look.
Yes, that's the May 7th. But that was approved by it was approved by the town.
That was approved by you guys on said date, yes.
So what we do have in front of us, so the public hearing is closed. What we do have in front of us for the board to review that we just got is a resolution. And Joe, I don't know if you've seen this yet.
Yes, I have.
Okay, approving a subdivision plat for the Sandvoss subdivision. Have all the members of the board had a moment to review this?
Yes, I've reviewed it.
Okay,
No problem.
Jim,
No problem.
John?
We're all good.
Okay. That being said, this is a long one. Do I have a motion for the resolution approving a subdivision plat for the Sandvoss subdivision?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Rob voted on that one and John Kinkart was out. Wow, that was a long time coming, that.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, Joe.
Okay. See you later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, number 7 on the list, is a par 3 golf course. This is a public hearing, location 795 Route 6. So I have a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
John's back. Okay, so I see Mr.
Good
Moderano.
evening, guys. How you doing?
How are you?
Hey,
Jim
Jim.
Moderano, Yorktown Parks and Recreation Superintendent. I'm here with Paul Revens, the engineer on the job. So he's going to run us through the game plan over at the par 3.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul. How are you?
Hey, Paul.
Good, Paul.
So they started work there on Saturday, 2 days ago. The silt fencing is up. The orange construction fencing is up. And they've started working on some of the greens and tees, excuse me. So they're expecting to complete the 2T, the 3 green, the 4T, and the 9 green over the next 3 weeks. And then in phase 2 would be the 5 and 4. And then the final would be 6, 7, and 8, hopefully wrapping up the reconstruction by Thanksgiving. We did notice that there were about 5 dead trees that need to be taken down and removed. And also all the silt fencing was up.
Yeah, that's going to be under 5 acres, correct, Paul?
Yeah, so when you add everything up right now, we're at 0.25 acres for the greens and tees that are currently being worked on.
Jim, I have your latest plan that you sent to me today. Do you want to bring that up on a share screen?
Yeah, by all means.
Hold on.
Oh, you said 0.25 or 2.5?
0.25.
Quarter of an acre.
Right.
That's for all 3 phases?
That's for all 3 right now.
That's very interesting.
So in green are the greens, and red, I believe, are the tee boxes. And I believe there's appropriate drainage, which was added to the SWIP on those greens as well.
That's what you're working on now, the greens and the tees. Is
Correct.
that right?
Yes.
The 2T, the 3 green, the 4T, and the 9 green.
Okay. And the entire project has also some work to the fairways, is that right? In terms of some tree removal, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
There's a number of dead trees along the way there that could be hazardous.
Okay. Were all the trees that were removed dead trees?
We have not removed them yet.
You have not, but some
No.
trees were removed here before.
Before my time, yes. I'm not.
Was it before? Was it before your time, Paul?
Yes, I've only been involved here since about February.
Okay.
Paul helped submit the NOI and SWIP.
Okay. And so the trees that remain to be taken down, you'll have an inventory of them, I expect, at some point? Or you do already?
Absolutely.
Yes, and we took some photos of them as well.
Okay.
Do you need me to send that to you, or Paul to send that to you?
Yes.
The dead trees that need to come down?
Yes, I'd appreciate that, yeah.
No problem.
They can be identified from the ones that are already on the plan, right, Jim?
Correct. And they're in this process, they're putting in 40 trees. I believe over 40 trees into this plan. Obviously, you need the buffer between holes.
Yeah, you should also get a estimate at the very least of the number of trees that came down prior to both of you guys, your involvement.
John, there is a tree memo from back, from a couple of years ago, which talks about 90 trees coming down.
Okay, good. So they can use that as the number that you're looking at. That plus what they will take down.
Aaron, do you have that tree memo by any chance? Any way someone could forward that to me?
Yeah, it came into my materials from the department, so
Yeah, planning has it.
planning has it. It's from September of 2018.
I would love to put that in my notes.
Okay.
I thought you were making a link style course when I saw some of that work being done.
So in the SWIP that we submitted, we stated that there were approximately 150 additional trees and shrubs will be planted throughout the property.
Those numbers just need to be brought forth.
Sorry,
for the-
70
for the
trees,
approval.
guys. 70.
70. Yeah. So, do you guys have a copy of the SWIP? I mean, the SWIP and the NOI? Is that
I
something
believe, I believe we do.
Okay. So those details should be in there.
John, has this been referred out to the various departments or the boards?
Tom?
You're on mute, Tom.
You're muted.
It was referred out. Yes, the latest plan has been referred out. Yes.
Everybody?
Yes. I can speak for all in-town agencies, in-house agencies.
Okay, so John, procedurally, how are we moving forward here?
I think that they should continue and describe what they're doing to generally what the rest of the project is in terms of around the clubhouse.
Right.
You have a parking plan that's also part of this, right?
Yep. I believe 48 spaces. We took those two other spaces out, and then outside of the facility, we just recently counted in the park and go. There's an additional 48 spots.
Okay. And the clubhouse is largely remaining the same. I think there was a small addition to it, correct? Is that right?
A small addition. I believe it was extended a couple feet. And we did have to take out I had received a memo from Mr. Quinn. We have to limit the seats to 42, which we have taken out 2 tables to get to 40 seats.
And then what's the reason for that?
Septic, I believe, was the issue. The septic could handle only 42 seats.
Okay. And just for the benefit of the public, the parking requirement is based on the number of holes. It's five parking spaces per holes. And then I think it's 1 space for every 2 employees. And that's how we get up to the 48 or 49, whatever you have. I don't recall the exact count. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I think the next steps, Rich, is to take some public comment. When you're ready, you can close the public hearing and we can refine the resolution for the next meeting.
All right, and before we go to the public, anybody from the board, any concerns, comments, questions for Jim or Paul?
We're going to keep track of any additional trees, to be taken down. Obviously, we know there's 5 right now that you're considering due to the safety and not having people on the course that are going to get hit by them, which I'm particularly sensitive to. But usually I'm hitting the trees, but that's another story. Are you still considering having the employees park on the auxiliary road, Jim, or is that not going to be mandated? That's not going to be part of the operation plan.
Sean might be able to speak to that, what the employees are doing. But yeah, that may be something that we look into.
Well, it can be informal, I suppose. But when we're making decisions, having the 96 plus or minus parking spaces available to the whole operation, we want to take into account how many people are coming on and off the site, obviously, and who's going to be able to park there. So, but yeah, I was just curious if that was going to be part of the formal operation plan, or if that was just going to be something that you asked the employees to do to free up spaces for patrons.
I think that'd be a prudent plan. You want your customers being able to walk only a few feet to your restaurant and golf course, not a mile. I'm exaggerating clearly, but yeah, I think that's a good thing to consider.
Anybody else from the board? Okay, we'll move it up to the public then. If anybody's got a question, please get a hold of Robin.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Sean.
All right, you can hear me. Yeah, just to go back and go over the parking. Our thoughts were that we were going to have the daytime workers park up on the access road. Anybody who has to close the restaurant down after 9 o'clock at night would be parking close to the restaurant.
Understood. Yeah.
Just for safety reasons. So yes, that was definitely a consideration of ours. That was just going to actually be a house policy for the workers. If you guys want us to put that in the legal jargon, I guess we could do that. But that was definitely a consideration of ours to have the daytime workers park up on the access road, and the people that would be working after 9 o'clock at night, it would be parking close to the restaurant.
Thanks, Sean.
Have you submitted the number of workers that you will have during the daytime?
I have
Total?
not, but I can most certainly do that for you, John. I can get that to you within the next week or so. I will do that. That was a little bit more down the road, but yeah, I can give you an outline of how many people will be working at the restaurants, employees, and
hours, etc.
Yeah, I'll get that to you guys within the next week and a half, a rundown of what the operations will be, how many people will be working.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I think, house operations are going to kind of be fluid for the first several months anyway. It's just something that we talked about in the past. I don't need to see it as part of the formal plan, Jim or Sean. I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but it's something that I think I wanted to make a point of, because we're going to be taking that into consideration when we consider approvals here. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
John, Jim, where do you think we should put that?
Probably in the approval resolution.
Okay. Robin, we hear from anybody from the public?
No.
One other thing is I have not received proof of the mailing notices for this public hearing. I vaguely spoke to Jim Monterano or texted him a little bit ago. I have not received those notices at this time.
I had not sent notices to neighboring houses. There are none really, besides the JV Mall, and I believe there's a house across the street getting some work on it.
You see that?
Oh, I guess.
Did you actually mail to the mall?
I had not. No.
Okay, so you're gonna have to keep the public hearing open.
Right.
And we'll have to get those mailings out.
No problem.
And we'll just have to incorporate the comments made tonight into the next public hearing.
Great.
Okay, so we will hold this open until further notice. Am I missing anything, John?
John, other than the mall, anywhere else I should look into sending it to?
Basically, it's everybody who is adjacent to you. You jump over public rights of way and public land until you get to somebody.
Right.
But we will help you with the map.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, can I just raise a question?
Please.
This is about CVS. It just occurred to someone that we never closed the public hearing before we voted to adopt the neg deck and the site plan approval resolution. So I'd like to go back and re-vote on CVS.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
You want to finish this and adjourn this one first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a motion to adjourn the par 3 golf course.
So the next meeting, or what are we doing?
I don't know.
Adjourn. We're not closing it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll make that.
When's it-
motion. Move to adjourn.
I second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Guys, that's the first Monday of October, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, board.
Back to my board, CVS Commerce.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
guys.
All right, everybody.
Oh, and I thought we did this, but I guess not. Do we have a motion to close the public hearing, leave it open for a 10-day written comment with the
No.
votes?
No,
There's no comments.
no comments. We're done with it.
All right, we don't want it? Okay. Very good. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We're going to close the regular portion of our meeting.
Wait, Jim, do you want us to go through the whole list, right?
Yeah, I'd
Oh, we
like
gotta
to,
do the whole thing again?
the neg deck,
Yep,
The
lead
neg deck
agency,
and
neg
the
deck, and the resolution.
We voted on the neg deck.
Yeah,
I
we
know,
did.
but-
We're doing it again in the proper order, so.
All
right,
All right, so then, do I have a motion to declare the town as the lead agency?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adopt the neg deck dated September 14th, 2020?
So moved.
Moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then do I have a motion to approve the, I don't have it in front of me right now. The resolution
Yeah.
with the caveats of lighting, the fire lane, the design of the bollards. the
Abaca.
DEP, Abaca,
DEP, right. And,
stormwater,
mhm,
And the parking restriping,
and the parking restriping.
got them all. So
as
moved.
discussed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, guys. Now we're going to close the regular portion of the meeting and move into the work session. Just a reminder, we are going to have first on the work session, then Tuckett Sons, or Sound Sons, they were they withdrew themselves from the regular portion of the meeting. We'll move into the work session. Thank you.
Move to close the public.
Close the public portion.
Second. Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. See what happens when you have 2 months off?
Good for you.
Yeah.